You find yourself lost in Irvingland. Last time, we watched someone mysterious watching Will and Dr. Smith. We know they're invaders from the fifth dimension. No. The question is, what do they want? He found out Dr. Smith is a surgeon and he wants him to implant a mouth.
Mom? Mom? Mom!
Oh my word. Are we going to have a Judy episode at last?
What is it, dear? Look! Well, that's odd. I've never seen a blip shaped like that on the screen before, have you? No, what do you suppose it could be? Oh, it's probably a malfunction in the scanner. Don?
Yeah?
Can you come here a minute?
I guess not. By the time he gets over there, the blip is gone, and when Don questions, they start to doubt whether they really saw it. I mean, they could have both imagined the same thing. They're just women, you know. It's not like they have big, strong man minds.
Well, there's nothing there now. Besides, if it were a blip, it couldn't just disappear. It would have to fly off somewhere.
You've seen examples of all kinds of technology that we don't have. What makes you think teleportation isn't a thing out here? We watch the alien fly over the terrain, and eventually he, she, it lands. It's an eyeball in a fancy egg cup. I repeat, what do they want? Dr. Smith doesn't want to hang around to find out. Or maybe he does. The eyeball wants to talk. You know, that sounds an awful lot like one of the languages I know. Play it again. Let me run it through my translator. Now let's try it.
Are you native to this speck of dust? Are you native to this speck of dust?
Yes, I was mistaken. Can't understand a word.
If it's natives you're after, there's a whole tribe of them right down there in the valley. The natives here are called Robinsons.
What does he expect to get out of this? He says, I'm from Earth.
Earth. Ah, yes. A minor planetoid still in a near barbaric state of development.
There's a perfect example standing right in front of you. Maybe you should take him for study.
One of the circuits in our guidance control system has worn out. We must replace what you would call a computer.
Oh, well, the natives down there, they've got a slew of computers in their spaceship. I could get one for you right away if you'll let me go.
Primitive toys.
There's only one thing they can replace this computer with. You've already guessed what it is.
A humanoid brain.
A what?
Even such a primitive one as yours.
You don't want that one. Your ship will be whining and avoiding work all the time.
We may have to reduce your size somewhat to fit the available space.
I want to see how they do that, but Smith has another idea.
Suppose I get someone smaller for you, someone with a really marvelous brain, whom you won't have to shorten. Somebody who will fit all in one piece.
He's going to betray 9-year-old Will, the one person in the crew who still believes in him a little. We are really going all out to make Dr. Smith as unlikable as possible, a true villain with no redeeming qualities. And we succeeded. In fact, Jonathan Harris did his job too well. After the series ended, he found himself hopelessly typecast as villainous scoundrels whether he liked it or not. He didn't like it, so he stepped out from in front of the camera and got behind a microphone. He finished his career happily doing voiceover work for cartoons and commercials. It was a perfect move. If you can't see that unforgettable face, you can't instantly hate him for being Dr. Smith. Speaking of whom, he has one solar cycle to deliver a small Robinson.
To guard against betrayal, we shall move elsewhere.
Then how do I find you?
That will guide you. If you fail to return within one orbit of time, that band about your neck will ensure your termination in exquisite agony.
I suspect that someone who says exquisite agony like that is not a nice boy.
Will? Will? Will?
He has gone.
I know that. I can see for myself. All right, I'm going.
And they don't feel like waiting until he fails to show him what it's like. He can't escape them. They're watching him all the time, and they're impatient.
Hello, my dear. Completing your daily chores, I see.
Don said if we didn't watch these carefully, the nitrogen in the atmosphere would make them grow as big as our spaceship.
Penny, my dear, when you're finished, there is the most incredible thing I want to take you to see. It'll be our little secret.
Let us in on your little secret, too, sir.
So much for that, thankfully. He has no soul. He lives for himself and nothing else. And as a result, everything he touches turns to crap. It's got to be a horrible way to live. He's going to try for Will again, even though Don warns him to stay away from the boy. He pretends to be mortally wounded and tells Will a horrible power did this to him. But Will can save him. Smith is the doctor. Will can be his hands.
Hold this over my mouth and switch it on.
Isn't this what you always use for a flashlight?
Flashlight? This is an ion generator to purify the negative mortifications that have poisoned my metabolism.
You're a 9-year-old genius and you hear a load of nonsense like that. What do you say?
Oh.
And then you go ahead and do it. The cure works, who saw that coming, and now it's time to talk about what did this to him.
You saved my life. You did. As good as any surgeon could have done with a whole battery of knives. But your loved ones, what a pity you can't do the same for them.
Will says there must be something we can do to save them. Smith says, yes, there is, but they can't know about it because he says so. He needs Will to carry out the first part of the plan.
To infiltrate, to pull the wool over their eyes. Together, we overpower these heartless foreign creatures, take over their spaceship, and return to Earth in glorious triumph.
He has not uttered a single meaningful word yet, but he is making good use of his nonsense. He has Will convinced. The parents are out in the chariot looking for Will, but Smith convinces Will to hide from them for their own good. They find something else.
John, look.
What?
He is really slow on the uptake. She's doubting her own senses again when she should be asking why her imagination would conjure up something like an eyeball on a throne. The most famous and memorable part of the 60s hadn't happened yet, so we know it wasn't that. That ball they gave Smith glows when he's going the right direction. It's taking them from Los Angeles to San Diego by way of Miami, which is to say it's got them wandering all over the place in no apparent pattern. John and Maureen decide to investigate the spot where she thought she saw something, and sure enough, the robot says an alien presence was here.
Is it a human presence? Anti-human.
And what does that mean?
From anti-Earth.
What does that mean?
That means what I think it does.
Your thought waves are on the right track.
Oh, now he's reading our minds.
Minds emit waves. Waves may be captured and computed back into words.
Would you care to share with the rest of the class? We won't get to find out what the two of them are thinking because there's a more immediate question.
These anti-people, have they got a hold of Will yet?
Insufficient data.
Then let's go track them down and get him some data. Dr. Smith has had enough of this wild chase they're leading him on. They stop to rest.
What's that?
Oh, that. Oh, that's a little souvenir I managed to make off with in case anyone were to question my story.
Can I see it?
I think you found them, or they found you.
What's that?
That, Will, is a laser turret from Borderlands. Wait, Borderlands hadn't happened yet. It's a soft-boiled egg in a very ornate cup. Never mind. But they have their small Robinson, so Smith is free to go, right?
The humanoid object is of fitting size, but its brain has not yet been tested for satisfactory performance.
Well, you'll see. He's a bright one, smart as a whip.
We are about to test the capacity of his brain. If it falls below our requirements, we may have to employ both yours and his.
Wrong! These guys are bullies. You can't trust a bully because he'll turn on you over the least little thing. Like the fact that you couldn't deliver a small Robinson with a large head. Even so, they're tired of his mewling, so they release him and send him on his way.
How come it's so big in here and so little outside?
Within this ship, we are in a field of fifth dimension, where size has no meaning and is beyond your present capacity to comprehend.
Will is the opposite of Dr. Smith. Where Smith was cowering from everything and whining like a 2-year-old, Will is looking around and going, "Cool, what's that? What's that? What's that?"
What'd that do? What'd that do?
That foolish man who brought you, he made you believe you could betray us and employ our vessel to return to your own primitive planet. Is that not so?
Yes, sir.
Your moral programming is admirably straight.
In Hollywood at the time, everybody was straight, whether they were or not. Oh, you mean he tells the truth and stuff.
The truth is, we need more than the power of your brain. We have been traveling since long before the earliest moments of your planet's history. Our mental powers have grown weary.
In other words, they've become a race of dimwits. They need an injection of smarts.
We do not intend to harm you, but we need your youth, your freshness, your curiosity.
If you guys can travel to all these different planets, go find a willing subject who wants to explore the universe with you. I doubt if kidnapping your computer is going to turn out well. The parents have picked up the alien ship on their scanner again and are headed for it. Don is zipping around in the jetpack looking for Will, so he'll join them.
Listen to me. They got him.
Where?
They got Will.
got him? Where
He's
is he?
safe. He's safe, but he can't get away.
Where?
These creatures, they captured us both. They mumbled some rubbish about using a human brain for a computer. They kept Will. We've got to do something. They may take off any minute.
We won't talk about how they got Will. For now, let's go see if we can get him out. Will is getting plugged into their computer, but there are issues.
You lament your forebearers.
My what?
Father, mother, you miss them.
What do you think?
We can, if you wish, erase your memory circuits. Then you will cease to feel the pain of separation.
No! I want to remember them. I don't care about your old computer. I'm not going to think of anything for you unless I can go back with my folks.
Regrettably, for a period of time, we will need you more than they.
You know this how? Oh, you can evaluate the physical situation and even read their memory circuits, but you reckon without the emotions of a child and apparently don't understand the parent-child bond. You have no idea how much his family needs him and he needs them. But I think you're gonna find out.
Do you suppose we could blast them out?
The craft is surrounded by a force field in the fifth dimension, which is mathematically impossible.
Obviously, you need better mathematicals. It's pointless and it'll destroy him, but John orders the robot to go try and stop them anyway. The robot just accidentally killed himself with a ricochet. I hope that was your plan, Professor. The aliens fire a warning shot and Will says, "Enough, I'll run your computer, I promise."
Dad, can you hear me? Will!
Will, are you all right?
Don't worry, Dad. Don't worry, Mom. Everything's going to be okay. Ask Dr. Smith. He fixed it up for me.
I can explain everything.
There's no time to pummel him right now. The ship is making noises.
Awaiting computation of trajectory. Auditing computation. At once.
I can't. Honestly, I can't. The answer's right in front of me, but I just can't seem to.
He can't think about orbital computations. All he can think about is his family. The aliens keep pressing him to put his family out of his mind, and he keeps getting more frazzled.
What is that on your cheek?
Whatever that is, it is causing our computer face cells to burn out. I order you to stop that.
I can't help it.
Computer vector cycles are short-circuiting. You must stop it.
Will's love for his family is burning out their computers, and he can't suppress it because they're ripping him away from them.
What primitive, barbaric little creatures you are. On your own planet, you slaughter each other unceasingly, all in the name of love.
At least we keep trying to get better. We don't go around turning people into machines.
Let him go. His mind is far too primitive to be of any service to us.
He can't go. He's not done frying your computers yet. I told him they were going to find out who needed him more.
But in a few moments, we shall be fully powered up. Without him to complete the circuit, the power will destroy us.
He is useless. Let him go.
Basically, they gambled and lost. They powered up on the assumption that he would be the guiding link, but he can't do it. Without him, or someone like him, the power has nowhere to go. So, it'll find somewhere to go. Will is fine. There's a nice crater where the alien ship was a second ago.
Hey, Dr. Smith, our plan worked out okay, huh?
Oh, yes, indeed, my boy. Just leave it to dear old Dr. Smith.
I have a feeling Professor Robinson is going to want to hear more about this plan. But for now, Will is okay and all is well. Except that the heat wave is coming again.
Tired?
Hot. There's not a breath of air.
And not likely to be if this drought keeps up. Give me a hand with that, man. Well, one thing, once we get this water conversion unit insulated, we won't have to worry about evaporation.
There's a major water shortage. Most of the sources have dried up, and it's only going to get worse as the hot season comes on.
Hurry! Get to the ship! No! Let him go now!
Heat season also means planet quake season. Professor Robinson laments that they can't learn anything about those aliens because there's not a trace of them or their ship left. Based on how they treated Will and Dr. Smith, I'm not sure you want to get to know them. They don't seem like they'd make good neighbors. Unless you kept a nice big fifth-dimensional club handy in case you had to knock some sense into them periodically. I'll see you next time you find yourself lost in Irvingland.